Hey, all you idiots, just a quick heads up that although the F1 world has lost its collective mind in response to Alonso bailing on Alpine, Piastri more or less telling Alpine to get fucked when they announced him as the man to replace Alonso, that this all happened after we recorded this week's episode, so whilst we don't cover it here, we indeed will get stuck in next episode, but keep an eye on our socials as we more or less stir a whole heap of shit as it all unfolds. Enjoy the episode, and thanks for all your support and love.
The kind of perks that you get for being at Ferrari would be so offensive to like a third world country child
F1
who's starving.
as a whole is offensive to a third world country.
But no, don't you want to see the end of the race, little girl? I'd love to, but I got a plane to catch.
He's the reverse Luke Skywalker. He started out evil. For free, SBN. You can have that one for free.
See ya, or hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Idiots of F1. Do not adjust your stereos. It is me, your brand new host for the week. Just this week, Digby, as Ollie has had to busy himself with real, actual work for another prestigious sporting code as he jet sets across the land down under. Now, with thanks to you to those who keep the listener numbers going up each week, we're here again, post-race weekend, and heading into the summer break. And we couldn't be more excited to be here with you all again. As your self-proclaimed, uncensored, and somewhat inappropriate dummies pocket guide of all things F1, we're here again to try and deliver on that promise as one of the world's newest and most needed go-to sources for all things F1. We're here to cast our obnoxious, light-hearted, and passionate opinions and thoughts of all the on- and off-track events and drama of one of the world's most prestigious and entertaining sports. And with Ollie away, Digby will play, and like a babysitter struggling with his position of power with a couple of 5-year-olds, will look to do his best to control resident idiot Ev and reserve driver Taylor from straying off into oncoming traffic. Evan, mate, how are you? The voice of Mercedes fans everywhere, welcome back. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you?
Oh, I'm pretty good.
You over your jet lag?
I am. I've got the flu now, so just
there
in
we
time
go.
for a podcast, you can
There
hear
you
me
go. Yeah.
sniff the whole way
This is
through.
great small talk.
It's actually me doing
Come on,
code.
let's talk about the weather now.
And on that note, Tay from the United States of America, here to prove me wrong that his employment with our pod is not based on nepotism. It's great to have you back, mate, and be on the same episode as you this time. How you doing?
I'm good, man, and it's great to be back. I've been excited. I've been waiting for my call up. I've been sitting on the bench, keeping it warm for the last, how many episodes? I think episode 11 was the last one. So what's this,
Yeah, wow.
19?
Not enough.
The Kubitzer of the
not
idiots.
7 episodes? I'm back.
Yeah, wow.
Should have been more.
So basically 1 in 10 would get you back. I definitely
I like
need your
those
help
odds.
this week, mate, on Haas. Well, before we ramble on like a Led Zeppelin song, let's get this show on the road and get a quick overview of what is to come. As always, we're licking our lips to chat about last weekend's Hungary GP. From there, where they're going to dive into, well, Tay is going to dive into Haas, you've been paying attention and attempt to rescue me from my losing streak.
Coming for you, Evan.
Once we figure out who the biggest idiot of the show is in Haas, we will then move on to a new segment called Idiot of the Week, where we will choose and discuss from a list of specifically picked quotes I have found over the weekend and decide who indeed was the biggest idiot at the Hungary GP. We then close you out with our very own What's Verstappenen, a round of all the other F1 fuckery going on in the world to ensure you hit the weekend full of knowledge and insight, up to date to the brim with everything Formula One. Now, I say hit the weekend. We actually have a few weeks off due to the summer break, and we won't be back until the 25th of August. So make sure you replay all 19 episodes again and again and again, so it feels like we're all still hanging out. Look, now, if this doesn't all get you excited, just fast forward the episode and hit download so we still get those counters up, play counters up. But also, before I forget, if you haven't already, please rate and review and share the show on all your favorite platforms, or just all the platforms, as it really helps us along the way. And yeah, with that, fellas, with the formation lap out of the way, it's lights out and away we go.
Vroom, 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 vroom.
Right, now, I think the first to discuss is it's been a bit of a sad revelation for Formula One. We got so excited to see Sebastian Vettel jump online for socials, and with his very first post, he announces he's on his way out, which is a bit sad. For those who are new to the sport, you'll notice he's quite the role model and has
Now.
become quite outspoken about, cultural and environmental subjects that are very important to everyone now. But it wasn't so much like that back in the day, was he, Tay?
Nah, he was an asshole when he was racing with Webber. I couldn't stand him.
Ev, what did you think of him back then?
I thought you were going to say he jumped on our socials only to say that he'll never come on the show. He had a pretty love him or hate him reputation at Red Bull, quite actually similar to Max Verstappen. He was overly aggressive, even with his
Arrogant.
own teammates. Arrogant, wouldn't let anybody overtake him.
Wouldn't team orders.
Yeah, and it's just exactly. He disobeyed all team orders and stuff like that. So quite selfish, and he was very successful because of it.
Yeah.
So
does that make it harder to accept his now altruistic approach to the F1, or is it just it's great to see?
No, it's
that
great
he's
to see
grown up?
that change. It's great to see that people
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
evolve and become better humans.
I mean, we've seen Max evolve in 3
he's the reverse Luke Skywalker. He started out evil, and then he became
Hold up.
good.
Hold up.
afterwards.
When did Luke become a bad guy? Luke never was a bad
Well, no,
guy.
when he
You mean Anakin?
Darth
Vader?
Well,
You're an idiot.
All right, no,
You're an
he's
absolute
more like
idiot.
Anakin. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Although I don't think anyone ever liked Anakin ever in any.
Well,
episode.
no, not Hayden Christensen's Anakin. Oh, wait, or the
Even
young
that little
one.
kid.
That little kid. Where is he now?
Oh man, let's.
Oh,
this
leave
is
him
a
alone.
little out of left field, doing it a little differently this weekend because I thought it was pretty noteworthy to first talk about what an outrageous qualifier we actually had on Saturday. Now, the first glaring point of view is George got his first pole.
Huge. Smashed it.
We also saw Red Bull kind of capitulate. Would you guys say, start with Ev on this one, do you think George's first pole had anything to do with Red Bull's troubles, or do you think he would have got there anyway?
By all accounts, by his account, his pole lap exceeded his own expectations.
Yeah.
So I think it actually would have been Max would have had to have done the same thing. Like he would have had to have exceeded his own expectations to beat that. It was just one of those laps, really.
Yeah.
So I think it would have been extremely tight.
An all green lap, I think, Tay, you mentioned before we went on the show.
Not one purple sector for him at all. He just seemed to tie in every corner, every sector, like nicely. And it just worked out for him.
It's quite a good representation of the year Mercedes and Ferrari are having. Carlos got a purple and a yellow and a purple, and that yellow was enough to be the undoing of Mercedes triple green to come on through. Now, I will get to it soon, but noting that Hamilton was quite off the pace compared to George in the quali. Yeah. What was the reason behind that?
His DRS wasn't working.
Well, that was on that last hot lap, wasn't it? Was it the whole time?
No, just that last one, I think.
Just the last.
Which is the important, and we know
the
how
important
Lewis
one. Only
drives.
the important one.
He'll be coming 10th for the entire qualification, and then come through with pole on that very last one.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
As he does. And lastly, what on earth happened to Latifi after being P1 in FP3, which we know means absolutely nothing. Go Tifi.
That's a warm up, mate.
Gets purple in Sector 1. But still comes P20. How bad must his second 2 sectors have to have been?
Well, I think we've all established just by playing F1 2022 is that you can have a blinding first sector and like, oh yeah, I'm really confident on this course, and then nope, the rest of it I'm shit.
Well, I think he went last in
Q1.
Q1.
Yeah.
So he got the most amount of grip at the time, so he benefited from that. And then to go fastest in in Sector 1, you've got like the back straight, so he would have had a lot of top speed from that. And all he would have done is just kind of nail the first 3 corners.
It's definitely the easiest part of the track.
Yeah.
I love that track.
So do I.
Yeah.
I have a lot to say about the Hungary track, but I've noticed more so than ever this year. Maybe it's because we're doing more research for the pod. But the amount of repetition that goes on and creates this echo chamber, whether it be on YouTube or on Twitter or on TikTok, that once I've never really heard of Hungary being discussed as Monaco without the boats. But I've heard that about 20 fucking times this week. Is that a thing?
I've never heard that saying before this year. I think somebody's come up with that saying. So what they mean by that is it's a very flowing track. So you're never not attacking the next corner in a sense.
Yeah.
Whereas every other track, you normally have a bit of a
straights,
straight before the next. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And so that's why, and it's not the widest track in the world because it's pretty old school. And it's quite undulating the way Monaco is as well. It's got a couple of hairpins and a couple of really tight chicanes. But I love that. I don't understand all these people are commenting on how, you can't overtake Hungary. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? Like,
Have you not watched
Ricardo,
Hungary?
I think Ricardo like set the record of
2018.
for like the number of overtakes in a race at Hungary.
Exactly.
And that's all in one corner, which is the first corner.
And
you
it's
can
literally
easily outbrake that.
on Drive to Survive season 1. That is one of the big subjects of that whole season.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you're going to get with a lot of newbies coming in and having their say about the sport. You get it on game reviews, movie reviews, lots of things. People who are too lazy to really be in the know and they hear one thing and they kind of run with that and blow it out of proportion. Because I was surprised. Hungary's one of my favorite tracks, and the amount of people are going, no one who likes racing would say that Hungary was one of their favorite tracks. I was like, okay, well, I guess I don't like racing then.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't mean shit. You like what you like.
And
it's all subjective.
Yeah, well, we'll get there when we talk about Max, but ultimately we had a race on the weekend that seemed dominated in the strategy arena. A lot of undercutting and overcutting happening, which in some cases caused significant tyre issues. Was there more to this, or did Red Bull just have more pace than everyone this weekend?
Red Bull's always... Red Bull has the fastest car. I think Max shows that with how quick he is and how quickly he went from 10th to 1st. Like, he dominated and was able to easily overtake everyone. Funny enough, Perez struggled.
What was holding him and Perez back in qualies then? I know Perez... what happened to him in Q2?
He got his lap deleted.
But then it was reinstated.
reinstated.
It was reinstated. But then it just wasn't enough. I think there was I heard that the track itself struggles with temperature and the biggest issue that I think most people had found throughout all equality was tires getting to temperature to allow those quick
we saw
laps.
that with George at the start of the race.
Yeah.
Well, look, I don't know if this has any merit, Ev, but I was thinking with the amount of fighting that George was doing with Ferrari in the first, 20 laps of the race, would that have given a huge advantage to Hamilton and Max to catch up and blow them away at the end?
So it's you kind of don't. You have no point of reference when you watch it on TV, but when one car's defending against another car, they're actually going a lot slower than they would otherwise be doing.
Okay.
So if two guys are fighting, the car coming behind them is going to catch up quite easily. That definitely played the game into Verstappen's hands, but he would have won regardless. I think he would have stormed.
But look, my assumption would be if someone's trying to take your position, wouldn't you be driving faster, or is it because you're driving wider and keeping them zigzagging?
Yeah, it's because you're driving wider. You're trying to cover off
the overtake
apexes.
points,
Yeah.
And on the straights, you're probably trying to get out of the way so that
that's right. Or you're trying to brake differently so that you can perhaps get greater traction out of the corner than otherwise they would. Or you're trying to force them to make a mistake by going too deep. So different things like that. So both cars are actually going considerably slower because of that. So when you see two teams who are like Ocon and Alonso fighting against one another, or with Ferrari, they were fighting against each other. It kind of shoots yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
If you're on the same team and you're fighting each other, that's doubly bad.
Double
for you.
trouble.
Well, that's why you always get
double
team
trouble.
orders and you get bloody Horner going, no fighting.
Yeah. And then that's also why you get Vettel and Stroll, with Vettel going, fuck this
Sergio,
shit.
you know that
fuck
you're
out
not
of the way, Stroll. Well, in saying that, I saw that Max was paying quite a bit to win, so I actually put some money on Max to win.
Oh,
and I
baby.
got it.
When was the last time you won?
I know, right? So I put
so long.
just a little tenner on Max, and he was paying $8.50, which I thought was a lot, because we know how easily the top cars can get through the pack. And with those top, like with Russell fighting with Ferrari, like you said, Ev, that was only going to slow them down. So we saw him with a lot of overtakes, which would completely go against everything that everyone was saying all week about Hungary and the design and size of the track, pointing to fewer overtakes. Now, maybe there's fewer overtaking points, but I think it's pretty clear that people make the most of those points every lap.
Yeah.
Just on that note, wasn't that squashed last year when Bottas took out everyone like a bowling alley, and then Hamilton coming essentially fair way back,
he was essentially last.
As Verstappen or Verstappen. God, I always
Verstappen.
Like they made it
Runs in the
look
family.
easy. Apart from
And Danny in 2018. I mean,
exactly. So I
so
don't know
much
where
points
that's all come
to
from.
being a great track. We had this discussion a few weeks about another track, and I was like, I don't get this. I think it was Barcelona. I was like, this is one of my favorite tracks. You see a lot of great racing. And everyone's like, no, you don't. You never see good racing, and we saw lots of great racing. I mean. If I wasn't so confident in my brash opinions, I would probably change my mind more often.
But this also shows, like, for instance, this season in particular with the new cars and how they're banging on about the fact that it's meant to be for closer racing and make more opportunities for overtaking. So this just,
in saying
shows
that
furthermore,
the overtakes we saw on the top end of the field, I mean, like Max, just pulled away so quickly. I think Max couldn't have raced a better race on Sunday. I mean, what?
Well, Ferrari handed it to them as well.
That's true.
So-
and that's
onto
true.
that
But
They should
I
have
feel
been
like the
up
performance
there.
of the Ferrari wasn't as bad as they made it out to be. They were obviously very fast. Mercedes, look how quickly Hamilton got past Russell. That's what made me think it wasn't just tyre selection. It was also early degradation. So it can't all just be Ferrari's fault for putting the wrong tyres on.
No. Well, but I mean, also Mercedes have been known, both Russell and Hamilton, for being really good with their tyre management.
Yeah, okay.
Like really good. Like I think, to be honest, they're probably the best across the field.
Yeah, well, they've been the most
You never
consistent.
hear about, for the most part, you don't hear too much complaining from both of them, apart from temperature-related issues.
Yeah, which
But in
was
regards-
huge this week.
Yeah.
I think
but
they timed Russell at a minute 30 waiting at the front of the grid while the last car came
But
in.
that was his own fault.
It was.
He
That's an experience.
flew.
That's an
Yeah.
experience for sure.
Yeah.
But that's a long time to wait in the cold.
Yeah.
What
It
an
was
idiot!
huge.
I don't often
And then Latifi,
criticize him.
He
It was
saw one boob and he just went straight in.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like, I'm ready. Oh, shit, this is not the race. This is warm-up.
He's just excited. He thought it was a race.
It's fine,
to
we're
the
over.
front.
It's all right. I won the race to the pole position.
Well,
Yeah.
formation lap.
With Max's win, you could probably say the Drivers' Championship is all but locked in. People seemed almost surprised that he came from 10th to 1st. I'm not sure why. Maybe they would like to make a big deal of it as opposed to being surprised, because it is a huge effort. I mean, in your opinion, Ev and Tay, even with that 360 spin in the middle of the race, did you see him finishing at minimum top 3, let alone win?
He was always going to be in the top 3, I think.
Yeah.
He just, I don't know. I feel like it's getting a bit boring with him, if I'm completely honest. Every time he's at front or even close or hunting down the pack, like whether it's from a pit stop or some mistake, he's always on someone's ass and getting past them so easily.
Yeah.
And I get bored of seeing him at the front.
Like we did with Hamilton.
Yeah,
Yeah, for the
exactly.
last 10 years.
Like when it becomes that much of it becomes very dominant.
Yeah.
And maybe it just works in his favor with his driving style and the particular car and how quick it is. And and
Great,
as sad as
great
it's to
strategy.
say-
I mean,
that Red Bull's smashed.
they would
it
have
on the
built
strategy
an
front.
amazing strategy team because they had no choice but to last year. They didn't have the car to beat Mercedes,
Yeah.
so they had to have everything else in the bag of tricks. Ev, did you see him finishing number 1?
No, I think that. Well, look, nobody saw Ferrari kind of absconding
shit.
from the race. So yeah, they should have been. I think common sense was that Leclerc would have overtaken George Russell. Yeah, what's there to say if 9 places above Max Verstappen don't even bother to try and win,
Yeah.
and he's the only guy actually trying to win, then
Well, that's a bit.
you know,
Are you
what's-
saying that Russell and Hamilton weren't trying to win?
No, but it's like in the. I know what you're saying. Ev. It's in the essence of the strategy.
Yeah,
It's in the essence of like you. It's not just the drivers. It's the team behind you and what their plans are and experience. I think at some point during the race, they said, I think it was the last third of the race. They said that there's 6 drivers here who have a chance of winning.
That is so exciting, though. That is really exciting for F1 to have. I was watching the post-race interviews, and I had 6 people that I all looked at and go, you could have won today.
Yeah.
You could have won today. And that is really cool, because honestly, it's usually 1 or 2, unless they crash or have
What happened with McLaren? Like, Lando should have been up there.
No, I don't know. One thing I noticed with Max, to pull away with the margin that he did pull away from Russell, like we said, once you've had that tough run at the beginning, it's really hard in 70 laps to keep that top spot for so long. We've seen Max lose that spot before in 2019. It's hard to keep that first place the whole way around. It's not a nice pole necessarily to have.
But then you look at, was it Ocon last year on the same course, and he was out front the entire race.
But he also had Alonso defending him.
Max seems to dominate as soon as he's out front for the most part.
But
he's out front the whole time.
Yeah, but I'm saying the times that he has been, when he was out front in 2019, he got caught by Lewis, and Lewis beat him with 3 laps to go.
Yeah.
My point being, it's a hard track to stay on top of everyone. Like it's really hard to do those.
Another 3 laps and Lewis would have got him.
Exactly.
I would have loved that. And if they did a red flag and not the virtual safety car, when
it came out since then that Max's engine only had 12.5 kilometers left on it before it was going to explode.
Oh,
so that's like that's like 5 or 6 laps. But it's still like
pushing
like,
it to
that's
the
so
end.
fucking close.
That shows you how hard they've got to push it to stay ahead of the other 2 top teams. Well, that 1 and 2 for Hamilton and Max, or Max and Hamilton, should I say, broke a record on the weekend for being the most like 1-2s in a race, regardless of position. So Paul Rosberg loses that record that he held with Lewis Hamilton.
And also, Lewis also broke another record of leading laps on one venue. And it was a bloke called Bill.
Here we go. Here comes the pronunciation.
Bill Bakovich.
Yeah, and he had 483 laps for the Indy 500 championship. But I don't recall.
So that's not even like an F1 record. No, that's a racing record.
Racing motorsport record.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, as we talk about Hamilton, obviously another 2 and 3 for Hamilton and Russell. And that would suggest that Mercedes are not just somewhat back, they are back and are in real contention for the constructors, and at the very least will overtake Ferrari, which I believe we called a few weeks back, and ESPN acting like that's some hot take this week. Going, oh my God, I'm calling it now. Ferrari will lose to Mercedes. Mate, we're all calling it now. It's really obvious Mercedes, unless Ferrari pulls some magic out of their fucking sleeves or Bonotto's glasses, they're not coming second in the constructors.
No. I think definitely Mercedes are like the most improved. They get that award because they have actually shown improvement every race.
Now, I mean, I've alluded to it already, but I've got some questions here. Did Russell blow his race, or did Mercedes blow his race, or is Lewis just a better driver?
Maybe both.
I'll give this one to Ev as a Mercedes
I think
fan.
Russell played, and he said himself, they only played the cards that he got dealt. Being in front and having to defend for like 15 laps, he was on the softs where Charles was on the mediums, and Charles pitted before him, which just shows like how hard he was having to drive, that he went through his medium tires faster than George went through his soft tires. To say nothing for the strategy of him trying to undercut George too. But yeah, that was just the cards that George got dealt, that it happened to be that Lewis ended up on the soft tires at the end of the race, where the race was still competitive, because normally the race isn't competitive in the last kind of like 5 or 10 laps.
No. If it was the other way around and Lewis had pole, do you think the reverse result would have happened with Russell coming second?
You reckon?
Yeah, I think so.
I think Russell lost. I think a lot of people are really quick to shit.
I
on
wasn't
Russell.
shitting
And
on him
when he-
then.
No, I know you're not. But read the you read the tweets and stuff after a race with Russell. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's so typical. Russell's the kind of guy who's this." I'm like, "Fuck off." He gets pole, and then everyone's sucking his dick all of a sudden. Oh yeah, he's so good. Blah blah. I was like, "Fuck off." No one liked him until he got his pole position. I think he was unfortunate that he had such a slow start and was just continuously fighting with Ferrari. I think he was always once that happened in the first 20 laps. I didn't think he had a chance. I actually didn't even think he was going to be on the podium. But Ferrari managed to fix that for me.
Screwed them up. yeah, exactly.
And speaking of Ferrari, they came an abysmal for them 4th and 6th. And Ollie has suggested that the pit wall is now becoming the biggest joke on the paddock. Even the post-race podium room were having a laugh about them going to hards.
That was weird.
Now, was there problems or strategy, Tay, or did they really just not have the pace? And because we saw they even missed out on fastest lap once changing to softs.
No, it was all strategy. Like I made a note while watching it. I was just like I've never seen one race where every car, like we had every compound tire on the race, right? And I could not work out why, for one, they brought Charles in before Sainz, even though Sainz was on older tires, and then swapped him onto hards when even Pirelli had said this track isn't good for hards. Like they literally.
So you're suggesting they should have held out longer and put him on the softs? They should have
waited longer and stuck either to the mediums or gone to softs, depending on their two-stop.
They couldn't do another mediums. They had to change.
Oh, they had to. Yeah, then do softs. Yeah.
Well, no.
Or do a medium, hard medium or something.
Or for me, I would have done, I think it's what Lewis did, which you go medium, soft.
But you can't do a
so you would have had
following.
to hold.
Yeah, you can.
You would have had to hold him. You would have had to hold him longer.
Yeah, that's right. But that's all part of your race
strategy.
plan. Yeah. So perhaps you could have let George go and nurse your tires a little bit longer instead of coming in really early and trying to do an undercut and go on a hard.
It's almost like they underestimated him and felt the need to try and get him early,
but
and then
also,
they couldn't, and that fucked the rest of the race.
But I don't understand why they weren't aware that hards just weren't good for this track.
Oh, so Binotto had something to say about that. I can't remember his exact quote because everyone was saying,
Mamma
you
mia?
saw hards weren't working.
Yeah.
Alpine fucked it. Danny was on them for McLaren, also wasn't doing well. Lando did okay with them, but he said their data suggested that it shouldn't have been as
some
bad
cars
as it was.
do better or worse on different compounds.
But you'd think after seeing just how bad it had been, they would have
just changed it up.
Yep.
Given it, but maybe they were trying to be clever, and they had. They were in a position where they had to take risks because if they didn't win yesterday, it was going to be kind of over anyway. So perhaps, what about when they put Sainz on softs? He still couldn't get fastest lap. So perhaps Binotto, there is some truth in what he's saying. It's very easy to all go, "Well, you're an idiot. You shouldn't have done this." But when you're watching on TV, it's a lot easier to see what's going on. Now, swooping in at 5th, we have Perez. Bit of a forgettable race for him. Nothing outstanding or poor. Notable that he let Max fly by, which at this stage of the year seems pretty fair, considering Max is definitely top of the pile. I think it was a bit different in Barcelona. But he definitely didn't seem to have the same pace as Max coming up through the pack from 11th. Ev, is that just him and his driving style? Or
that car has always been designed for Max first, and so it should. So I think that it's quite telling. And you see it with Lando and Danny, how like one car with one driver is really, that seems to be the optimal setting. And then another driver in the same car, and it just doesn't seem to work out. Or that's perhaps the real pace of that car. Perhaps that is, if you put anybody else but Max in that car, that's what Sergio does is as good as you're going to get. So it's
and it wasn't a bad effort.
No,
11th to 5th, really consistently. He didn't really struggle.
He got screwed in qualifying because I think it was Mick Schumacher who blocked him, and so that ruined his qualifying. So he probably would have qualified much higher up. But then you would say the same about Lewis if his DRS was working and stuff like that. So,
But look, Lewis managed it all right. His overtaking was pretty phenomenal throughout the day.
It's always a bit strange when it's one I mean, you saw with Lewis all these years, he was always fighting Bottas or he was always fighting Nico, and now George. Like, everybody else seems to be getting a pretty good performance out of that Mercedes.
Yeah.
It's just that Lewis is typically a cut above or a little bit above everybody else. And so he should be. He's, the greatest of all time by all accounts.
Almost.
And so it's... it's a bit...
He's the LeBron to the Michael Jordan.
That's right.
Oh, there's a few under there.
So it's just a bit frustrating, I guess, to keep seeing Max elevated when he needs a rear gunner like everybody does.
I thought Perez. I know Perez wasn't my favorite driver, but I think that was a respectable effort.
Yeah.
I think Red Bull should be happy with that.
He just doesn't get the credit he deserves because.
No, and like I said, it was a forgettable race. Nothing really happened with him that we took note of.
No,
other than he.
Well, how the hell?
That's the same with
Max
Lando.
can do a 360 and still come back and win. Like, whereas Yuki Tsunoda does a 360
crazy.
and end up coming last or whatever. Like, if you play the video game,
That's what
that's what
frustrated
happens.
me about this race. I was like,
That's the caliber
we're
of a
going
driver.
to come out of this and everyone's going to be like, see, told you how slow Russell was. Max does a
Yeah,
360
yeah.
and Lewis just, fuck off.
Yeah,
fuck off.
funny. It's funny that it works
It's not
out
just
that way.
Well,
Sometimes.
we mentioned Norris, so we're fitting to go on to McLaren, who was 7th and 15th. Poor old Denny. Another week where Lando was well clear of Denny for points. Clearly, he is getting the most out of this car, and as my mate Nico referred to a few weeks back, he thinks it's a brilliant driver getting the most out of a pretty poor car, as opposed to Danny just not being a great driver. However, Danny had some memorable moments. His double overtake on Alpine was absolutely sensational.
Yeah.
That was one of the coolest moments of the race. I think it doesn't matter who you support, you can't help but get excited when that happens. Especially, everyone wants Danny to do well.
And appreciate the skill level.
Exactly. Maybe is he just inconsistent? Is he just inconsistent, or is this just his car making it hard for him?
Well, I think you nailed it beforehand when you said that the car hasn't been built for him.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit rich coming from Nico saying that.
You hear that, Nico?
Hear that, ESPN, with your hot take?
That Landy ends up, he's the better driver getting it out of a poor car.
Yeah.
I don't think that's necessarily true. I just think the car's been built for Landy.
To be fair, I think he did. He may have also referenced that it's a. If you're McLaren, you'd be stupid not to put all your money on Lando. One thing they did kind of blame on Danny's performance was going to the hards, which he described as driving on ice. He also used that as a reason
Still didn't spin, though.
to blame for this clash with my old mate Lance Stroll.
I thought it was initiating Order 66 for that effort.
Well, but interesting enough, Norris was on exactly the same strategy. He was also on the hards and didn't seem to struggle as much. Not that we really would have noticed. He didn't get a lot of TV time. But, Tay, why would they not just split the strategy for those two?
Probably because they are two very different drivers at the moment.
And the results are going to speak for themselves.
Yeah,
Did Lando start in hards?
He didn't start on hards, but he went to hards pretty quickly. He was on hards before Charles. Yeah. Because, you got to also take into consideration the track temperature throughout the race as well, and how that then affects the tyres.
It's unfortunate for Danny, but it is cool to see that he's still got it from time to time. We're talking about him like he's fucking 50. But
like he's Alonso.
I mean, if I'm Danny, I'm hoping for a bit more help from McLaren. If I'm honest, give me a different strategy to Norris. Give me something that's gonna maybe be a bit riskier, but help me
a bit
upscale.
What's the point of finishing 15th?
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, I know he got a penalty, but he was still like 11th or 12th before then.
Yeah.
Well, we move on to the Alpines, 8 and 9. We have Alonso and Ocon. Alonso was apparently furious and disappointed with Ocon in the opening laps, and then they had a later run-in after the race. Ev, did you see this? Tay and I did not see this.
I did not.
Yeah, I didn't see it either.
No, I did not.
So a lot of people talking about how Ocon's letting down the team and not defending for Alonso like Alonso would defend for him, Would you not have the argument, Ev, that Alonso is one of the best defenders in the game?
Yeah, maybe even the best.
Yeah.
There are lots of drivers like Schumacher and Verstappen went over the line of what you would consider to be fair play and competitiveness. Lewis is a really good defender. But he kind of needs the car to do that in the first place. If you're in that Mercedes, Max flew by him essentially. Like you can't really defend against that. He's in another level. But yeah, Alonso, especially what he did this time last year, was just stunning.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of arrogance you'd need to have to think that you should block your own teammate when your teammate is Fernando Alonso.
If you're Ocon, Tay, how do you deal with that feedback from, say, the Alonso fans who are probably making up the majority of the Alpine fans at the moment, and come out and say, you should have done better? Well, what do you say or what do you do for the second half?
I guess it depends on your general respect for Alonso as your teammate and experienced senior level driver. So it really comes down to the relationship that they may or may not have. So that would dictate how I would feel based on that reaction and how I would be spoken to if I were to be Ocon and I did what I had to do. At the end of the day, I'm racing to make sure, one, I have a seat for next year, and I still want to be as competitive as anything. And if the team's not giving me orders to be a certain way, then I'm going to still race how I would race anyone.
I mean, Ocon always feels like the... for lack of a better phrase, the red-headed stepchild of any team that he's in.
The irony of
only you would know that.
And as one of them myself, I can attest to how that feels.
What's it like being the son of Simply Red?
He's never the star, but he's also never the backup driver. He always seems to be stuck somewhere in between. Even with Danny at Renault, he wasn't clearly the number 2 driver. And no one really gave him... I don't think he gets a lot of credit for his driving ability.
He gets overshadowed.
So if you're Alpine, you'd hope whoever you bring in next year is going to compliment Ocon, because I don't think we've seen anyone compliment him yet. And now that Alonso's moving
he's so
off...
pale, he needs to be in the shadows.
Now that Alonso's moving off... you'd probably assume, Ev, that for the next half of the year, he's probably pulling... all the punches.
Yeah, if that were me, and it's like if you're in a job and somebody leaves and they're above you, or it's a position that you'd rather want, you know that, well, I've got a couple of months where I need to prove that I want that job. I want the number 1 seat. So whoever else comes in, like I need to like puff out my chest and I need to make a name for myself so whether or not I get that job, or so that the next person who comes in knows to like get out of my way because I'm getting the next one that's even higher up.
Now, does Alonso, do you think he's going to help him with that, or he's still going to stamp his authority?
No,
He'll still race.
Alonso actually has a history of every team he leaves, it's very acrimonious. So when he was at Ferrari, when he was at McLaren, when he was at Renault originally,
I don't give a fuck, I'm out.
Yeah, like he can be quite toxic in that he expects to be number 1. He's very confident. I don't think arrogant, but he's actually no, he probably is really arrogant. But in all fairness, he was the best of his generation and has some ridiculous. Ollie knows the stat. So he won twice.
As in world championship.
Yeah, and he was something like within 5 points of winning it 7 times or something. Like,
wow.
He came second by 1 point across like 3 seasons, and then he came third a couple of times by a couple of points for another couple of seasons. So
basically, he's been the first loser for quite often.
His stats are extraordinary.
Wow.
In that sense.
So overall, Alpine are now, by the way, ahead of McLaren by 4 points in the constructors. So McLaren's better spend their entire summer, quote unquote, break working fucking hard to ensure they stay ahead of Alpine.
You know what sucks just on that front is the fact that Stroll is doing better than Danny. That hurts,
mate. So is Kevin Magnussen.
Fucking.
Speaking of the green team, 10th saw Sebastian Vettel come in, thank you to the late team orders, leaving Stroll out at 11th. Seemed a little bit confusing given their history the last few weeks, just that they let Seb straight on through
Well, they gave him a happy win.
Yeah, I mean,
win,
was that
so
like
to speak.
you're off next year? Here's a point.
It was weird that they did that because like was it like corner 12 or 13 when there was like you just see Stroll completely slow down, and he just goes straight past him, and it's just like why'd they?
I don't know if that's the sort of thing where it's like he let him go past as if to say, hey, look, I'm not always an arsehole. Maybe stick around next year.
Yeah, I'll come back, Seb. Come back. Everyone's blaming me for
Yeah,
leaving.
exactly.
I'm not a bad guy.
Like two kids who like one kid's taking the ball and he's starting to cry. And like, oh, you can have it back.
Yeah, sorry. So Seb did explain after the race it was they thought he had a better chance of catching and taking Ocon over, but he sadly ran out of laps. I mean, there wasn't a stretch to know that Seb had a better chance of overtaking Ocon. Pretty forgettable week yet again for AlphaTauri. Haas had with their black and orange flag early on, kind of screwed up Magnussen's race after having all their upgrades given to him this week. He again didn't think he should have had to be taken off. I didn't. Yeah. The damage definitely looked worse than his Canada flags. And I did also, speaking of crashes, did hear the commentators also point out that Russell was in the right last week in France, and he should not have been penalised. So that was all
when
fun.
did he get penalised?
He didn't get
again?
penalised, but he had that. He tried to cut.
Yes. And then it was like, why isn't he giving it back? Why isn't he giving it back?
So everyone was saying Russell was in the wrong. Russell, according to the rules, he is indeed right. It's just a stupid rule. It is literally just a stupid
exactly. Rule. But it was, oh my God, obviously you guys spoke about it last week, how much of a little bitch he was when he was complaining about it. Just fucking race,
It's the milk monitor. He's Gareth. Right, well, let's move things off the track. Drive it out together. This week saw the F1 look to stamp out online abuse on social media by encouraging the public to highlight disrespectful or abusive comments. Now, let's talk about the good intentions they have here versus the likely and actual outcomes of this process. When you have something like this online, first of all, I think we can all accept that the social media world, especially F1 at the moment, is a pretty toxic place. And to be going in expecting it to be a safe haven is pretty silly, despite it should be a safe haven. You shouldn't feel worried about entering in any conversation.
Everything should be a safe haven. Everything should be.
Everything should be, but unfortunately you can't always control what people have to say. So in this attempt, they're asking people to put warnings on comments that they find abusive or hateful or whatever. Yep. Now, my worry here is that who gets to decide whether that was indeed a hateful...
Who's the mediator?
Yeah, who mediates this? And...
I believe it's actually Michael Massey. Ooh. He's coming in to do all that.
Because he knows more than anyone what it's like to be abused online.
Michael Massey I've no sympathy.
But in all seriousness, we know more than anything about trolling or just people who angry at your opinion. Even if you don't write a hateful or disrespectful comment, it can be misconstrued or miscommunicated. So... I think we're going to find a lot of people being banned or at least given warnings for things that aren't fairly judged. And they're going to be inundated. This is like, I don't like what this Max fan has to say. Warning. I don't want this to happen.
Yeah, that's right.
I think that's going to actually happen a lot. It's going to be very overwhelming.
I wouldn't necessarily think that that's going to be straight off the bat. I think, if it starts to become an issue where you start seeing that sort of stuff, then it's worth, saying, hang on
highlighting
a minute. Yeah. But, to assume that that's going to be how it's going to be straight away based on what could be deemed, safe comments.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, look, we'll take our TikTok, for example, we'll get accused of being biased English commentators. Like, that's not offensive to us. We're not English.
And their ignorance offends me.
Right. But then at what point...
I don't even know why is that meant to be offensive to begin with?
A lot of the English...
You know what I mean? It's like, at what point, who decides it's offensive? Is it the person who's clicked the warning that this is an offensive comment?
Yeah.
Or is it the person who's sitting at the desk going, well, I wouldn't find that offensive, but maybe 90%...
No, it's the person... It's the person who deems it offensive. That's when it becomes an offense.
Yes, but you might say something that 99% of people don't find offensive, but the person who clicked it deemed it offensive. Does that mean you automatically get banned from making any more comments? There's it's a very grey area that I think is, you've got to be very careful. I think the F1 has to be careful with this. It's a good idea.
I think they'll do it based on how many people are offended by it. So
how many warning clicks it gets. Yeah, okay. And hopefully they'll take the the line of conversation into account.
As in context?
Yeah. I mean, do you find this is more the teams kind of saying things but not really doing things? Like, this is an easy out for them, do you think?
I think for some of the teams, quite possibly. You see just over the last few weeks with everything that's happened, like, I do think that some people are jumping on it because everyone else is doing it, but not necessarily putting, as you said, those into actions.
It looks like they've been given a PR order. It's like they've been provided the marketing. Here's your Insta post. Here's your story. Here's your Twitter feed.
Exactly.
If we can all post at 4 p.m. on Saturday, we
Exactly.
drive it
And
out
they
together.
did.
That'll show them. And Red Bull's just like, oh, thank God. Now we don't have to do anything. We can just post this and everything will be better.
It was an F1 global effort.
Like-
I couldn't believe
that post thing.
Yeah, and
I couldn't believe
it screamed of PR.
Like, as I was going through it on IG and all the teams that I follow, every single one of them had done it all at the same time.
And then
it
when they
just
do
felt
their
a
little
bit
speech,
orchestrated.
they do. You know what?
Yeah.
Like, I actually find it less effective when they do their speech together, as it would
Yes.
be.
I agree.
If you come out as a team
Yeah.
and you talk to your fans and go, "Hey guys,
Yeah,
we're not
exactly.
liking how you're treating. We're not okay with this." Max did. We
Yeah.
will speak about something Max said later, but find ways to directly talk with your audience.
Relate.
Don't just throw a fucking
Yeah.
post out that
Yeah.
every other
And
team
then
is
say
throwing
it.
out. That's
and it's like,
weak.
we've done it. We've done our bit.
Yeah.
now.
Like, at
It
some
just
point,
feels
you have to take
very
responsibility.
fake.
The drivers have to take that responsibility, because the fans are going to listen to their drivers. Like, if
Yeah,
Max
exactly.
comes out and
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
publicly
Yes.
condemns you, you might shut the fuck up. Speaking
Yeah,
of
exactly.
abuse, Michael Massey, as we referred to earlier, might have something to say about all this, as he recently discussed the abuse that he received from his work in Abu Dhabi last year, and also discussed that he had to sign an NDA to prevent him talking about the ins and outs of what
you
actually
go.
happened, which Ollie
We
called out
predicted.
just a few weeks
Yeah,
ago.
you all called it out.
There's another
weeks ago.
sweet take from the Idiots of F1.
That's
We're
for
not
free,
so
ESPN.
idiotic
You can have
after
that
all.
one for free.
Yeah. He was having such a hard time. He started to get a little paranoid walking down the streets of London, which is really, really sad to
Yeah,
hear.
looking behind his back, yeah.
Well, we may have seen Alonso smiling quite severely before the race on Hungary, and our old friend Lydia on Insta wanted to know what we thought he was smiling about. I think that has been answered since, as he is now moving to Aston Martin. The big question is, though, why is he moving to Aston Martin when it's arguably a slower car and a worse teammate than Ocon? So this puts us into a new segment I'd like to call speculation.
Station.
Why if you're Alonso, why are you going to Aston Martin? What's
You want to go first, Tate? What do you want? Do you want to take a swing?
Speculate
I reckon
away.
it's money. I reckon he's got another 2 years left, if anything. He's still obviously, as he keeps stating, he loves driving and he still thinks he's competitive.
He is. He's clearly
Aston
still
Martin's
competitive.
not
That's
competitive.
not
Yeah.
an argument.
Aston Martin isn't, but maybe he was shown the golden carrot where they are like, hey, our car's going to be amazing next year. This is what's going to be happening. You want to come be a part of it? And also, here's wheelbarrows and dump truckloads of money.
Yeah, so
Ev?
it's common knowledge that he wanted a long-term contract, and Alpine were only willing to offer him a 1 year. And they wanted to offer him a 1 year with an extension for him to drive the Renault Alpine in Le Mans. So they could kind of turf him off to the Le Mans
Yeah.
team and then bring in Oscar Piastri
whenever they want
Oh,
to.
there we
when
go.
it was
Yeah,
convenient
fuck
for
that.
them. And so they were hoping to get Piastri into Williams next year, so they could like blood him into the into the world of Formula One before being promoted to Alpine. And then the kind of, if you read between the lines, you'd have to imagine that he doesn't like what he's seeing at Alpine. He has a long and very successful history with Renault. So it's very strange that this happened. It's also very strange. There are always lots of open secrets and lots of speculation. This came out of the blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really did.
And by all accounts, only happened after Vettel
His
announced
retirement.
his
Well,
That
maybe
deal
Lawrence,
happened real quick,
maybe
though.
that came out of the blue, and Lawrence was it wasn't completely out of the blue, but maybe Lawrence had, look, I've got a spare 50 mil lying around, Alonso. I don't know if you want to come and drive our car, mate. What about your son? Don't you worry about him, mate. He'll do whatever I want.
Well, in defense of how shit Aston Martin are, and yes, Alpine are succeeding this year. Aston Martin have invested more than any other team, even including Red Bull with their new factory. Aston Martin have invested more in their Formula One team than anybody else. And so they are Lawrence Stroll is absolutely putting his money where his mouth is, even when he's got such a big mouth to start talking about winning championships and shit like that. He wants Aston Martin Formula One to be a big deal.
And look, if you've got Alonso in your team, it immediately makes your team a bigger deal, especially in his hometown.
Yeah.
So that goes against what we were sort of speculating back weeks ago about how
previous speculation stations.
Where he's just like, if Porsche or Volkswagen, Audi, come in and be like, oh yeah, he'd sell it off. Like this. Clearly, he's in it for the long game.
He wants it. Yeah.
If he's throwing all this money into it, and as you say, putting so much investment into the F1
but then, like, what is that money to Lawrence Stroll? Like, what is another?
Well, who knows?
Maybe
that's right. But as far as I don't think that speculation was incorrect. He's a money man, and if Volkswagen want to pay him,
the right price came along,
that's right. I don't think he has any sort of emotional investment beyond his son. But then that begs the question: how ambitious are you? If you're spending hundreds of millions on, they've just finished their new wind tunnel, which cost hundreds of millions to build, all so that you can just have your kind of underachieving son driving the car. Like,
well, maybe he's overachieving. Odd. What do we know?
Yeah,
well, let's move
maybe
on.
it was so
we
low
could talk
expectations.
We could speculate on them all day. We've already alluded to it. Who is replacing Alonso? It's a pretty strong estimate that Piastri will be taking his place. Now,
there was speculation again, where I had read that there was even talk in regards to having someone of seniority join the team, and talk about maybe potentially Danny going back to Renault.
That would have made
at the moment he's still going to be at McLaren next year. So unless something changes out of the blue now, I don't see that happening.
I really don't think there's anybody. It's a bit of a domino now because that affects Williams, because the Williams were going to turf out Latifi, and they've got a couple of American drivers that they wanted to bring in.
Yep.
American drivers are the hot topic right now because
it's
of
American
how big
owned.
that market's.
And you see it at the home.
Zach Brown,
you see it at the home
McLaren
races where there's a home crowd with the hometown hero. Right. They buy all the fucking merch.
Yeah. And that's cool.
Danny and everyone had a Renault hat that first year. Danny was in Renault, like the yellow Renault hat in Melbourne. Everyone had one.
He didn't even make it to the first corner before the race.
And everyone's now got the orange.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, look, like you said, who would then go to Williams if Piastri's not going? Would Albon stick around now, or maybe would Albon go to Alpine?
Yeah, so I think the common sense is that it's Nick de Vries who comes in because he's Mercedes, and he'll be blooded in there the same way that they were going to do with Piastri.
Yeah,
and then if he's there for a year or two, and then maybe Lewis retires, then he can come up to Mercedes, and George can be the senior, and he can. So it all kind of works out if that's logical, you know.
Well,
or
Ralph,
some people get
Ralph
cancelled.
Schumacher had a hot take that no one else seems to have had this week on the internet, that perhaps Binotto will be out of Ferrari by the end of the summer break. Tay, run me through your thoughts on where you think Binotto is going to be. Should he stay or should he go? Will he go?
I think he'll stay because at the moment, I believe
I agree.
Everything that has happened has come down to strategy and that team, that department of Ferrari. I don't think, they're the ones who are feeding him the information about what the best situations are on race day, on qualifying, all of that. And it's been strategy that's let down Ferrari for majority of the races.
But is it
Binotto's job to? Is it now his job to bin some of them and replace them, or does he?
I would think that over this break, they would be looking at
There's
that.
There's got to be changes somewhere.
and even during the time after probably every race, they'd be just talking about it and going, hey, we can't let this happen. But clearly nothing's working and nothing's changing. So something needs to be changed.
And it's something different every single week.
Yeah.
It is something different that there's not I think there's a lot of blame to go with Bonotto, but I think there was some credit to be had where he said they didn't quite have the pace, and no, it wasn't as black and white as they put the wrong tires on, so they lost. I don't think it was that black and white. However, I also think he's running out of excuses. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Ev, do you think he'll still be there?
So a bit of context. Before he arrived a couple of years ago, and he's been a part of Ferrari for a long time, with Vettel, like through the whole Vettel kind of era, and essentially since Michael left, what Michael did was that not only did he whip the car design into shape through his dedication, which you'll see in his documentary, he also changed the culture of Ferrari, Scuderia Ferrari.
Yeah.
And before that, it was kind of almost to a cliche extent Italian. Which is why they were terrible up from in between the 60s and the 80s and 90s.
Hang on, why were they terrible based on being Italian?
They're still getting all their work done. It's just not that rigidity that we
9
see
to
in
5.
London and Sydney. Up early and doing this. It's like, I'll do it, I'm ready. I'll do it, I'm ready.
Yeah.
And so since he left, that's all kind of gone to pot. And by all accounts, before Bonotto, that all of the backstabbing and all of the political goings on immediately came back into the culture of the team. And so now we've got Bonotto and Charles Leclerc who instill confidence and faith in the brand, but you're seeing that there's a bit of this kind of unprofessionalism is coming back in, where it's like, what are you guys doing? You used to be clockwork because you had a German in charge and
an Austrian with
like
Niki
a
Lauda.
Frenchman in charge. Yeah. Like you guys.
I mean, Seb wasn't
So it's a
exactly your player coach vibe and didn't really do much with it.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
German,
okay,
wasn't he?
let's talk about Leclerc. If you're Leclerc, how many years does he have left on his contract?
I think he's got a few years left.
A few years. Okay, let's say
He's long term.
Yeah, he is long term.
I think he's
do you
27,
look to
28.
get out, or is it Leclerc's responsibility to try and keep that team rigid? Like
they need
your
to
Michael
figure it.
Schumachers
Yeah,
and-
exactly. You need somebody has to have the personality to command that team. Where
I think
the
Sainz. I think
authority,
we see that
yeah.
in Sainz more actually than
Yeah.
you do Leclerc. Leclerc's happy to sit there and be upset, but Sainz is saying, "Oh no, man, come on, guys, I'm staying out. I'm staying out for a little longer."
Yeah.
Perhaps we need to see a little. Maybe Carlos is the answer. Maybe Carlos needs to start.
Sainz seems to be more of a leader, whereas Leclerc just seems to be more talented.
I just
I want to see Sainz in the garage like Vettel holding up the cable for the drill. I'm helping.
I'm helping, and they're praising him. Look
I like
at him
that
getting
Charles-
like
Charles is
Dad
just
and I
like-
fixed the car today. I held the cable up.
Charles is just blessed, like born with a silver spoon in Monaco, like
Yeah.
tanned, gorgeous, like supermodel girlfriends. And it's like you can
All right, Ev.
You can see that he's like he clearly is desperate for them to perform better, but only to like a certain degree, because at 4 o'clock I've got to
gotta
go
get
to
on
the
my
beach
boat.
with my girlfriend. Like he doesn't look like he's
Wearing my linen.
he's not exactly. He's not ugly enough to be like the commanding.
He doesn't have to
in-chief
prove
there.
anything. He's
Exactly. He could not be in Formula One and still be winning in life.
Well, I think it's time that Charles started paying more attention to what his team is doing. And with that, it brings us onto the moment you've all been waiting for. Huss, you've been paying attention.
I Hussed,
every week.
by the way.
Ollie throws out a
Of
series of
course
questions for me and Ev to battle our wits with, if that's the saying. I can't remember. But now I'm the host, and I am unable to cheat. So I am stepping out of this one. So in my place, we go to a reserve driver, Tay. Tay, please do me proud. And last week I made the decision that you will fight for me as opposed to fighting for Ev and me going against you. So the score
We don't know why he did that.
is currently 10-9 to Ev. So this is really important.
Come back.
This is me as Russell on the dying laps of Hungary. So let's get on with it, shall we? Question 1. Prior to
Wait, what are our buzzers?
then we have to do our buzzers?
I'm not good at this, am I? Right.
Oh, God.
Tay, you're the new guy on the table. What's your buzzer?
I totally forgot to think about it, so give it.
All right,
Ev
Ev,
think about it.
now
and
we're
then
thinking
I'll think.
about buzzers. Not only did I forget,
All right, my
but Tay
buzzer.
forgot.
My buzzer is this. My buzzer is because I'm in a spa and it's relaxing.
Okay, you're in a spa.
We're going
I
to
love
spa.
it. Okay, we're going to spa
Yeah,
next.
there we go. We're in
Wow.
spa. We're in spa. Good luck, Tay.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Beat
Tay.
that
it's
one.
not the
Beat
fastest
that one,
response
Tay.
of a buzzer. Yeah,
I know.
yeah. Anything's quicker.
Why are we on hards?
Brilliant. Why are we on hards?
Oh dear.
Right.
Oh god, what a clusterfuck.
Shut up, Evan. All you do is sigh.
But Ev will probably sigh with the difficulty of one of the questions and not realise that he's buzzed in.
That's right. This is true. I have not
Right.
thought this through.
Yeah.
I
Let's
haven't
go.
thought this
Prior
through.
to this weekend's GP, how many races had Red Bull won when qualifying outside the top 6 in their entire history? Evan.
Fuck. I thought it was none. I thought this was the first time.
Is there a time limit? This is
3.
bullshit.
What did he say? I
Two.
just said it. I thought it was none.
That's your answer?
Yeah.
Is it none or 1?
Ooh, I'm going to say one now that you've brought it up.
Are you including this weekend? Did I not?
Yeah, I'm
include
including this weekend.
this? Okay. Only ever once
Yeah.
before the Hungarian
Yeah,
GP.
I'm going to say I thought it was none.
Well, it isn't. It's once.
I said
so
one.
only
You didn't
ever-
want
I
to
said
give me a
once, not
chance to
nonce.
answer it?
I said not nonce.
Sorry, Tay.
Oh, you cannot give him that, by the way.
All right.
Why
I'll
are
go
we on
straight to the
odds?
button. All right, that was a practice. All right,
man.
that was practice. Bonus
was close to
question.
that.
No. Question 2. We'll leave that one out as a question. Question
Well,
2.
you can't say question 2 and then.
Well, it doesn't matter. You're both on 0.
Question 3.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry. Well, what were you going to say, Tay?
I would have said 1 or 2.
Oh, fuck off.
But it doesn't matter now.
Yeah.
Well, look, they only ever had one before the Hungarian GP.
What was it?
They were qualified 7th with Danny Ricciardo in 2017
Yeah,
in
that's
Baku,
ages ago.
when he also
Yeah.
won from 10th. It's actually the first time Max has ever won from outside the top 4.
Maybe that's what I thought. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go on.
Question one, the second.
Yeah, 1 point.
Question 1. How many times has Lewis finished on the podium at the Hungarian GP? Evan.
So this is his favorite track. I'm going to take a stab and say 10.
Taylor?
Ooh.
Do I have to do my buzzer?
No, I've just... You're now
I'm
getting a
gonna
chance
say-
because he is wrong.
Is this inclusive of this weekend?
Yes.
9.
It is 11.
Yeah, I thought it'd be more.
This is the 5th in a row,
Yeah.
the longest active streak in F1 history.
Yeah.
Oh, but I saw a figure about.
Has he won that 8 times or
for
something?
him.
He's won.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Maybe
knew it
that's
was
the
more.
figure I saw. 8. Ah, damn it.
There you go.
All right. Question 2. When was the last time we saw a Verstappen, Hamilton, and Russell podium?
I don't want to go on the hards.
Oh, you came in. I think Ev just beat you there.
Oh, wasn't it last race?
It was?
Yeah.
And it was
You
exactly
son of a
the
bitch.
same.
Yeah.
1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, it was last race.
That's a point for Evan.
I'm glad I didn't.
All
I
right,
forgot what the
damn it.
name of the last race was.
Bullshit.
So that's good that I.
Come on, Tay. You can do this, mate. Question 3. Question 3. How many times in both F1 and F2 has Leclerc finished on the podium at the Hungarian
Damn.
GP?
When were we meant to be paying attention to this fact? by the
How
way?
many times? Who's answering?
I don't want to go on the hards.
See, I just sighed. But it was out
Okay,
of disappointment
Taylor.
more than-
How many times in both F1 and F2 has Leclerc been on the podium at the Hungary GP?
God, it's a pure guess. I'm going to say 6.
Ev?
I'll say 4.
It is 0. You're both incorrect.
That's
He's
all right.
never
That's
managed
right.
to get on the
better.
podium.
A
at
draw
Hungary.
is
How
as
is
good
he
as a win
driving
for me right now.
Ferrari.
Right. Question 4. Albeit 10th, new Aston Martin signing is on a point-scoring run. How many races in a row has he now scored points?
For Fernando.
Who?
Must be Fernando. It doesn't say on the question, but new Aston...
But it said Aston Martin.
But it also said he was 10th. Hold on.
Oh, Ollie.
Are you
So
talking about
Ollie wrote
Stroll?
the questions this week.
Yeah. It says, albeit 10th, new Aston Martin
Albeit.
signing is on a point-scoring run. Because
Oh, he's talking.
Vettel came 11th, right?
No, Vettel was 10th.
No, last week in France.
Oh.
Oh, wait, when did he write the question?
The
No,
other
he
day.
wrote it.
You know,
Yeah,
the other day.
yesterday.
So, look, let's say it is Alonso. How many... I think
wouldn't
it
have
is
got this
Alonso.
answer anyway. This is a
must
ridiculous
It must be
fact.
Alonso because Vettel didn't score points last week.
Yeah.
New Aston Martin signing is on a point-scoring run. How many races in a row has he now scored points?
I don't want to be on the hards.
Taylor.
That's what
I
Shan
think
says.
he's on 6 again. I'm going to say 6 again.
No. Evan?
Fuck.
Well, going by that sigh, I'm guessing it's close. I'm going to say 7.
No. It's 8. It wasn't a sigh because it was close. It was a sigh because it was wrong.
Say 8.
He scored
I was gonna
every
say
race
8.
since Miami.
Yeah.
Oh, I should have gone with my instincts.
And Ollie said, it's a shame. He'll probably be the opposite next year with consecutively 0 points.
Leave him alone.
All right.
Says the
We're
man
on-
with 0 world
we're up to
champions.
question 5, and it's 1-0 to Ev.
Oh yeah.
Haas, you've been paying
up,
attention,
Digz.
really living up to its name as being the worst
Haas,
quiz in the
paying
world.
attention.
How many races could Max DNF consecutively with Charles winning?
Isn't it all of them?
Yeah.
Doesn't he need to lose them all?
No.
And
Tay, would
Charles
you like
win?
me to finish the question before you answer?
Sure. Yep.
How many
finish the
races
question.
could Max DNF consecutively with Charles winning and still be in front of Charles?
I know this. I should have let the question go.
He's 80 points.
How many more races we got, Tay?
We've got 8 left, haven't we?
Have we? I don't know. You tell me, Tay.
We've got a lot, but
Don't. Yeah, you can't tell.
Yeah.
You can't tell me.
He could probably consecutively. How many
Yeah.
DNFs consecutive?
No, it doesn't matter. It's just
And still be in front. Yeah.
let's go, buddy. Come on.
I think
you got
yep,
this. I think you can
he.
I believe in you.
I think he has to
I believe in you.
2.
2?
That
Incorrect.
Yeah.
It is 3 full races of no points and Leclerc winning each.
Once again, I
And-
should have gone with my
And
instinct.
grabbing
I thought Ev said
fastest lap,
3.
and he'd still be ahead by 2 points.
I thought Ev said 3, and that's why I didn't say 3.
Right, because I stuffed up the start of this quiz. We
Well,
are
I
now
won.
on.
I just
no,
won.
No.
Nah, we got one
The bonus
more.
question will be
So I
question
can't
6.
lose.
If a bonus question is required after this, I'll think of
we
something.
need more than one bonus question, by
Okay.
the way, because
This is a speed round. 3 seconds to get your buzzer in, so you cannot Google it. Evan, I'm looking at you. For half a point each, so we probably won't need another one after this. List off the remaining races in order. Go. Okay, Ev's got this one. What do you got?
well, Spa, Belgium,
Yes?
and I do not know what comes after Belgium.
Well, you need to.
Does it have to be in order? I can tell you what it is, but it's not going to be in order.
In order. Has to be in order. So don't stuff it up if you can't get any further than Belgium.
Belgium, Italy.
No. So half a point for Belgium. So you're on 1.5. So not include. So from Belgium onwards, Tay, if you
Good luck.
if you can get 4 of these right, you'll win.
You got this. You got this. You know what they are.
There's no fucking
Think of the
chance.
game.
So it goes
Think of the
Spa in Belgium, and then
Yeah.
Ev said it was Italy, which was incorrect.
Yeah.
So
which is-
we've got
So,
Belgium
but
next.
it is
then what?
it is around there. Italy's around there.
Still
not.
one at a time. What comes after Belgium?
It's not Singapore. Singapore's further down. Isn't
3,
That's why I went with
2.
Italy.
it? Singapore. I can't think of anything else.
it wasn't Singapore.
Oh, did you? I didn't
No,
even hear
you
say
said it wasn't Singapore.
Oh, yeah, I know, but I couldn't think of any
well,
other courses.
with
and
that,
you weren't saying.
We've got
Yeah.
a tie at 10 all. Ev wins. So
a 1.5-0 victory.
those were Belgium, the Netherlands, Italy,
Default,
Singapore,
default,
Japan,
default,
US,
default.
Mexico, Brazil, Abu Dhabi. So even if I hadn't stuffed
You
up
know
the
what?
start,
Yeah.
Ev still would have won by half a point.
You know what? I wasn't even thinking of the Netherlands because I always get Hungary and the Netherlands
Mixed up.
mixed up. Yeah.
Well, there we have it. We are now tied at the summer
Booyah.
break at
The People's
10
Champ.
fucking...
People's champ.
Oh.
And I did nothing to
Hey,
help that.
I had to do this. It's only fair to have you guys on par.
Yeah. Well,
coming into
we need people to tune in
after summer.
We need people to tune in. It's the most effective way to get
What
people
a
back in.
fucking
Ooh, it's like
waste.
cliffhanger.
I thought you were going to sort that. I thought you were going to sort that scene that you're back now.
Well, let's hope I can do better.
I've got a mate. I've got a mate over here.
We've all
who's
got
down
mates,
for
Tay.
it.
Jeez.
Yeah. Well, you don't, Ev. You're still
Now
in
we've
your
got a
room.
bit of time off. I'm definitely going to
speaking.
try and organise more people. It kind of threw me off being overseas. But there we have it. Ev's been paying attention. We have 10
Shakalaka.
all. This is getting very close indeed. It should make for an exciting second half.
Can
All
I
right.
just add? Let's
half.
just add the fact that Ev only won that because of that stupid. Because he knows it's Belgium. He had nothing else after that.
Yeah, no, he
I
got
should
that
have
half
at
point
least
in
had
there.
half a point.
I just loved your answer. It's not Singapore. Singapore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't think of anything else. I know it's further down.
All
I
right,
just could
all right.
not think of the other correct.
Well,
Anyways.
on that note, let's move on to our idiot of the week.
Isn't it always just Helmut Marko?
This is not news articles. So I've taken a few quotes that I read on Monday, which made me roll my eyes, and I would like you guys to decide who is, in fact, the idiot of the week. So our contenders. First up, we have Danny Rick talking to his pit wall, saying, in reference to the rest of the year, we'll have them in the second half. Yeah, Danny. Sure you will, mate. Number 2, we've got Bonotto with his great quote, overall, the speed was not enough today, regardless of the tyres that we chose. I think a lot of the internet will have something to say with that. But let's just believe for a minute he truly believed what he said for the sake of this segment. The third one, my favourite, Alonso. I still have the hunger and ambition to fight and be at the front, he says as he leaves for Aston Martin.
Not with Aston Martin, mate.
Right. So we've got Danny having some belief that McLaren will get them in the second half of the season. Bonotto believing that the overall speed was the issue of their Ferrari, which is indeed probably the fastest car on the track, and regardless of the tyres. And Alonso believing that he still has the hunger and ambition to fight for first place despite having just chosen to be in one of the worst teams on the grid. Who, for you guys, is the idiot of the week?
Bonotto.
Bonotto for Tay?
I have sympathy for everybody. I really do, because I just love the shithousery that Alonso brings. Yeah, I can respect that.
Yeah.
I'd
I'd say that comment for 50 mil.
there you go.
Well, come on, Ev. Who's your idiot?
Yeah, maybe Bonotto. That doesn't help him. Like, as I said, he's a political position as much as anything. But it saying that doesn't. He needs to take responsibility because he's responsible for the.
Yeah.
You know he walked off, right?
Yeah.
He walked away from the pit wall.
Well, no, apparently he
Yeah,
went to the
that-
bathroom. Apparently,
It's a
but-
bathroom break,
he
it
didn't.
struck me
No,
as.
someone saw him go into.
So he came back.
I wish
Yeah.
he went out and just to smoke a really Italian cigarette, a really long one, and it was just like.
with
Well,
the-
I'm sure there's a movie. It's like a sports movie or something, and someone's trying to walk away. Oh, it's Lyle Landley with the monorail in The Simpsons. Mr. Landley, don't you want to see the
He's got a
monorail?
briefcase full of
look,
money,
I've got a
gonna
plan.
stuff out of
just legging
That's
it.
They had,
He's got a Red Bull briefcase full with money. Bonotto, don't you want to see the end of this little girl? I'd love to, but I got a plane to catch.
monorail. That was a great.
So with that in mind, I think we can all agree Bonotto. However, I think a close second to Alonso for believing
Oh,
he
for
still,
sure.
for us, he wants us to believe that he still gives a shit
Yeah.
about ambition over money.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get on to what's for Verstappen, guys. I am going to keep you to 20 seconds each on this.
I might need
There
longer
is
though.
no room. I will shout you down, and I'll be ding, 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 ding,
I'll
ding, ding,
shout
ding.
you down.
Added post edit. Right. So what's for Verstappen is our time of the pod to wrap everything up. We'll take a few subjects that we haven't had time to talk about earlier, and we will get Ev and Tay to give us their hot take in 20 seconds or less for each subject. Today, Tay, you are the guest. We will start with you. Keep it as short and sweet as possible, as I will cut you off. I'll give you a little ding at 20 seconds and then just cut you
Just
off.
think you're making.
Okay.
Just think about making love to Shan, and we'll be done in
And
19 seconds.
however long that takes.
19
And for
seconds.
you, Ev, it'll be a it'll be a sock.
5 seconds. Right.
But it feels longer.
We lost a good one this week. Surprised that Vettel is leaving and feels more upsetting given how good a bloke he's become. What will be next for Sebastian Vettel, Tay?
Family and other adventures. I think he's going to probably dive into what his passions are that he's been trying to showcase in the F1 with climate control, with looking after the environment, all that sort of jazz, as well as spending time with his family.
Cool. Good answer. Nice and short. Evan.
I think
Hit
he's
me.
going to take up some sort of a role in being an ambassador for this. Well, they're bringing in net neutral fuel,
Yep.
carbon net neutral, but net neutral doesn't really help anybody. As much as it's an amazing piece of technology, it doesn't help in that sense. So I can see him taking up a role as an ambassador for those types of initiatives that would hold F1 accountable.
Yep. Awesome. All right. Number 2. How will Alonso deal with Stroll, given how frustrated he seemed to be with Ocon, who's a much better and less spoilt driver? Tay, take it.
I think he's going to struggle hard. He's going to get frustrated incredibly quickly. I would be very surprised if he takes Stroll under his wing and mentors him to be the driver that he needs to be. I don't see
20.
that happening. I think it's going to be they're going to always race, and Stroll will always take him out.
All right. That's your 30. All right, Ev, what do you
I
think?
think Fernando will stick to form, and he will actively ignore Lance Stroll and any sort of team message, and he will just run his own race. And I think that Aston Martin will not succeed in spite of the hundreds of millions of dollars that Lawrence is investing. I think that it is a fool's errand, just because of his attitude and the culture that he brings.
Okay, and that is time.
Yeah, 20 seconds.
All right. So,
welcome.
next topic. Porsche will be buying 50% of Red Bull. And we feel like it's two very distinctly different brands. How does the world and no regrets attitude of Red Bull brand fit the Porsche agenda? Partnerships made in heaven, or is this trouble coming? Tay, take it away.
Ooh, go Tay.
I know. I'm aware. It's hard to know Porsche, and they're like obviously they got a huge racing pedigree, and I think if they're smart. I reckon for this first, depending on how long their year is, like their partnership is, I think they'll be hands off to see how things play out, and if they need to step in, they will.
Okay. Ev?
So this one's this one's easy. Dietrich Mateschitz, what's his name?
Mateschitz.
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 So he's like 75, 76. Say he's only got 5 to 10 more years of breathing. They've got 5 years until, 4 years or 3.5 maybe till
26.
the new 2026 comes in.
5 seconds.
Porsche have the naming rights right now. In that time, Red Bull, Mateschitz is out. Porsche buys in the other 50%. Red Bull corporate collects $500 million on top of that, and then it just becomes a Porsche team.
Porsche team.
reckon?
Okay. What is the F1 summer break? Why does it happen? How long does it go for? And what does everyone do from drivers to teams? Before we speculate what all the teams will be doing and drivers, Ev, why don't you just quickly inform us what is the F1 summer break? Why does it happen? And how long will it be going for?
Yeah, I don't really know why it happens outside of the fact that the people need it, the employees need it. What you might be unaware of is that they actually shut down the servers at each company. You can't even if you wanted to go into the office, you wouldn't be able to log in to your laptop, or you couldn't do anything. So these teams that are going into Spa, like Red Bull, need a new floor because they've been exploiting loopholes. They can't use that 4 weeks to, I'm just going to
Develop it.
Yeah.
do that.
Do teams do it secretly and not log into their server?
What you
Using
could do?
pencils and
let's
paper.
say arguing that. What if I printed out all of my data that I needed, and I'm Adrian Newey, a genius head of design at Red Bull. If you print everything out and just take it home with you, and then you can just work on it, and you can have everybody come over to your house, and you can just work on it together. So even though you can't use the wind
tunnels and things.
The network.
tunnel, you can't do that.
Yeah.
But yes, absolutely, they're still working 18-hour days.
Yeah.
ostensibly speaking.
Right. Okay. With that in mind, Tay, what is everyone doing from the drivers to the teams on their break? How are they spending this time off, other than those idiots working 18 hours a day?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's established that Charles would definitely be leisurely relaxing.
In his linen. He's already wearing linen
in
right
his
now.
linen, with his bronzed up girlfriend. Probably just outside his apartment in Monaco.
Yep. Why not? We're hanging with all the other drivers who are living tax-free in Monaco.
It sounds like most people.
Do you think
most
Danny
of the
Ricciardo
ones-
will be at the casino gambling like he gambled his career away with Renault?
Yeah, nailed it. You were just waiting
that,
for an
Danny
opportunity
Ricciardo.
for that.
Ev, anything interesting you can take from what might be happening during the summer break that we haven't touched on?
No, Lewis has a reputation of going to like Vegas and just having huge parties.
Doing fashion parades and things like that?
Yeah, I don't know. Because there are so many drivers that need to like brush up. Like,
Yeah, and train.
Well, I reckon
Yeah.
Stroll will be going surfing because that's his thing that he does as Drive to Survive told me. He's a
'Cause it's so
surfer now.
popular.
Canada, known for its surfing.
Yeah, exactly.
But
what
then
a
Danny will be on his
fucking
ranch
Stroll.
in Perth. driving
his
around
trainer.
with his trainer.
George Russell talked about he's going to like a boot camp because he needs more muscle. He's already
He's already too tall for F1. More muscle
Yeah,
is
he's
just
very
going to
tall.
slow him down.
yeah, it's
Well,
true.
it's-
Maybe
he's
that's
gonna
why he
spread
lost.
out.
Maybe that's why he lost on Sunday because he's too big.
No,
He's
not
like
downforce.
sticking out like above the top of the car, like Mr. Bean on a
Do you
chair.
guys have
like
a bigger halo for the car?
Yeah.
All right.
Just because
like
you're
last,
working out, it's not going to make you shrink.
Last topic, fan fury. Verstappen has come out and had a crack at fans burning Mercedes merch. Surely these people are so fucking thick. Like, merch is not cheap. It is actually incredibly expensive when it's official F1 merch.
Exponentially expensive, yeah.
But come on, it's fucking cars, man. Like, shouldn't we be growing up, or is this just an inevitable thing where people like to jump on the "we hate that team" bandwagon, or is it just a cry for attention and they know that the news will talk about it? They've gotten a reaction from Max. They'll probably have many views on the internet. Is that just the culture we live in? Tay.
It was brought up that a lot of the fans are almost taking on a football-esque
Yes.
Yeah.
mentality towards the sport now and having favourites and booing the unfavourable drivers.
It's wrestling.
I mean, you look
It's
at
wrestling.
You look at. Oh, there we go. You love a bit of wrestling.
But that's part of the enjoyment of being a fan, isn't it, in wrestling?
Well,
Like-
Yeah,
Yes
but,
and no,
that's
but
the
that-
thing. That's
but
where
that
wrestling
hasn't
gets it
always-
right. You're
yeah.
meant to boo.
Yeah, yeah.
So booing
Yeah.
can be fun. Like, you can boo. It's not always
disrespectful.
It's not always
in the
disrespectful. It's like, that's not my team.
yeah.
Oh, boo. We don't want you to
Yeah,
win.
yeah,
You're the
yeah.
bad guy. That's fine. But I think when
But I
people
think
walk into the
because-
sport, they think it's
Yeah.
hatred. But you can disguise hatred by just sitting in that crowd and go, yeah, I actually fucking hate that guy, but I'll pretend it's fun.
Yeah.
There was,
But I
you
think-
can cut
but
this
it's-
out, but there was, I read a great article about wrestling. This guy was like, he went to the WWE like one time to
Yeah.
just see what it was like.
Yeah.
There's a wrestling team of like black guys. I don't know what
Yeah.
they're called.
Yeah, the New Day. Well,
Right.
They
And
used
they-
to be called the New Day. I don't know if it's the same team.
Oh, whatever.
Vince McMahon likes to group minorities together.
Right. Yes. So they were like a group of black guys who were just all like The Rock.
Oh,
And they
yeah.
played like trumpets or something, or they had like
Yeah, it'd be the
really-
New Day. They came out with they're like Caribbean. They come out with their
and so they had
instruments
like
and stuff.
really kind of colorful colors.
Yeah, yeah.
And this guy was like, the second they came out, he was like, shit, all these like white rednecks are going to be like, and there were loads of kids there, and it was like, he was bracing himself for like absolute racism.
Yeah.
And because these guys were like,
They're very flamboyant, yeah.
flamboyant.
Flamboyant.
So he was like, this is going to be like a shit. They're going to get eaten alive.
Yeah.
And then apparently they came out and everybody, like half the crowd who liked them, loved them.
Yeah.
And were like clapping
Yeah.
them
'Cause
and
they're
like
the good
celebrating.
guys.
Yeah, exactly. And so like it was just really funny that it was like, we have this misconception that
Yeah.
you're going to be like,
A certain way.
yeah, exactly. And it was like, no, they love these guys. They're all about joy and like happiness, and like the crowd loved them. That
Well, like, I know we laugh about it because it's fake. It's a TV show.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
F1's become
Yeah.
a big TV show, right? The WWE know how to manipulate an audience into cheering who they want you to cheer for and booing who they want you to cheer for.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
think Red Bull is showing us how good they are at getting their fans
Yeah.
to cheer and boo. And how
But-
Mercedes is doing it as well. It's not just
not
Red Bull.
really.
Yeah,
think
I
it's
heard
just
it.
Red
No,
Bull.
Silverstone,
I
it happened
don't
at
feel like-
Silverstone, mate.
Yeah,
Max
but
got
there's-
booed incessantly.
No, but that's because of how Max is. That's not because Merck's making that happen.
That's not fair, because they would argue the same thing about Lewis driving Max off the track.
Yeah, I
You
don't,
know what I
I don't
mean?
know.
Like,
I think
I
you
don't-
just
I
you
don't think
just
that's
said
fair.
your point being is that Red Bull has you see Red Bull.
No,
You know,
but
you see with
I'm
how
saying
they-
Mercedes have done a good job of it as well. I'm saying publicists and public relations know how to drum up attention, know how to drum up a rivalry.
it's
It's
I
not
just
about
think Merck
making
is much
it's not
better
about
on their
making someone look
PR.
like a bad guy. It's making them your guy look like he's so innocent he couldn't possibly do
I
anything wrong.
get what you're saying. It's just like in the differences of how Horner fucking just talks so much during the Netflix show,
Yeah.
right? Compared to Toto, where he's a lot more reserved, and it's only very rare that he speaks out.
Sure.
And to the point where the only times where I've ever seen him like sort of lose it is like that comment he made about Horner being a fucking Jack Russell just biting at your ankles.
Yeah, but then
You
at
know,
the
like-
same time, we've seen him lose his cool in the garage. We saw him lose his
Yeah,
cool
for sure.
at the German
Yeah.
Grand Prix. Like,
Yeah.
I think he's just he tries to
No,
contain
Michael,
himself.
no.
But he still knows what he's doing. You know, I think he's smart. He knows
I
how
just-
to say it at the
yeah.
right times. All I mean is that I'm not saying one driver's right, one driver's wrong. I'm saying that the Red Bull fans would also argue that they hate
Well,
Lewis for
you're
doing
always
the
gonna
things
have- there-
that
of
we
course they're
say
always
that
gonna be
Max
like that.
does, you know? And
But
that's the
I-
thing. People get
I
passionate
wish-
about their team.
I want people to be passionate about Ferrari, and I love that Ferrari innovated this year. Like, they went with the sideboard design that nobody else can figure out. There was a designer for Williams, and they were like, why does everybody copy Red Bull? And it was like, the simple answer is nobody knows how Ferrari
Do
did what they
Ferrari,
did.
right.
Yeah.
Whereas we can see what Red Bull did, and we're like, oh, okay, well, we can repeat that. But nobody knows Ferrari because it's really complicated. And like, I fucking love that. And like, I love what
Yeah.
Mercedes did, even though it very much did not work out. There's zero side pods. Like, it's all about innovation. That's what it should be, not like bitching and moaning about the other team.
Well,
Yeah,
like
but
bitching and
Red
moaning
Bull
is
and
what
Ferrari
you get
with a
when you don't
flexible
have
floor.
innovation. That's what you got to do when you have no
And
answers.
it's just like, I wish everybody. I want the partisanship, but not the way Red Bull are doing it, where it's very toxic.
Well, yeah, that is one thing I guess that we can all agree on, that Red Bull perhaps like to play that up because they know
Yeah,
it drums
yeah.
up media attention,
Yeah.
and probably aren't thinking about the consequences that it might have outside of the track. However, we can also all agree that that merch is just so expensive, so these
So
people are just so dumb. And I think that is one thing we can
But no one's thinking.
you
about that.
consistently see dumb people like to really get involved with the stupid aggressive shit. Anyway, on that note, we're done for another week of the Idiots. We will be gone for a couple of weeks. We will be back on the
Thank
25th of August after a well-needed rest. Thank you very much for filling in,
Yeah,
Taylor.
you do so much, Ev.
This is already too much.
Mentally draining.
You're welcome.
But we
You do less.
once
of any of
again,
us.
we thank you for tuning in and
I
indulging
do less than
another
you,
episode
and you're the reserve driver.
of validation seeking. Remember, if you've had a giggle, learned something, or just generally enjoyed
Don't
the
repeat
chat,
Ollie's copy. Don't.
This is
give
what
him
he
the
does. This is
satisfaction.
how he signs out every week.
Don't
All
give
right.
him the
Okay.
satisfaction.
All right. If you guys have had a great time, remember to like, share, and rate us. Give us rate us on YouTube. Make a YouTube video and tell everyone. We will see you in a few weeks. Thank you again, Tay. Thank you, Evan.
Thanks for having
10
me.
all. Wait till next. You have to wait till next half of the season to see who will come up on top, and half you'll be paying
gone in
attention.
Hang on,
Hey,
but-
equal.
yeah, I wonder if you
amazing.
still think it's nepotism.
Thanks. Yeah. Well, I'll talk about that when you're not on the pod. To,
Yeah,
to
exactly.
argue
Fail,
against
son.
me.
When I can't defend myself.
Check us out on socials. We're on Twitter, TikTok, Insta via @Idiots of F1. That is the number one. And we're always very active. Now, with this break, we will endeavor to keep things active as possible. Remember to give us some messages, ask us any questions you want answered on the show, and we will see you in a few weeks. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye. Play the music.
Bye.